Hey guys, Andrew here, and today we're going to do a review and unboxing of MagTool's DIY CO2 generator for your aquarium. Stay tuned. Alright guys, Andrew here, and today I have a MagTool CO2 generator kit. Now this is the complete kit you'll need to start I guess putting CO2 into your tank. So if you're looking for explosive growth for your plants, you need to get CO2, right? So I'm going to do a review, an unboxing of MagTool's CO2 kit. Look at that. Gosh, it looks so great. Now, the reason why I went with a DIY kit is because it's a lot less expensive. And if you look at this, it's very high quality. I'm holding the tank here. This is the canister, and it is some pretty sturdy quality steel that it's in right now. And it comes with the instructions on front of the tank here, where you're going to input all your ingredients. So I'm going to go through all the stuff in the box here and how to set this guy up. So what you look in the white plastic, this is the base. This helps keep it standing up so it doesn't fall over as easily, which is really nice. So far, everything was pretty high quality. You get a measuring cup. This is where you put your citric acid and your baking soda and your water. Those are the only three ingredients you need to make the CO2 within this tank here. And I'm going to show you all those ingredients, where you can get them as well. So this is the regulator. This is going to show the PSI, and it's going to allow the solenoid to be adapted to it so that you can pump CO2 into it. This is the diffuser. This will go inside the tank. Now, this is the stainless steel one. Still really good quality, but I was hoping for the glass one because the glass one just looks so much nicer. Now, they do sell the glass one, but it comes with the larger CO2 kit. So I got the smaller version because I needed a smaller one to fit underneath my cabinet so it looks good so I can hide it. But it comes with some really good suction cups as well. They're pretty thick. Now this part here is a little adapter that you can use mainly if you have a rimless tank. And then also comes with, I didn't know what this was at first, but this is actually a funnel. So you can actually pop it out and it's a funnel. Here's a solenoid and the bubble counter all in one, which is really great. And I actually attach this to a smart plug, which I'll show you later on, so I can put it on a schedule. So far, everything's pretty high quality. It's made out of good steel or glass. So I'm really liking the quality so far. Here's the plug. You'll get about 8 feet with the plug here, so keep that in mind depending on how big your tank may be. Now the plug is kind of two parts. It's the plug, and then it adapts into this guy here, which then allows you to plug it into the solenoid. And everything fits together pretty easily. And I was really impressed, right? So this whole kit cost $119, and everything feels like really good quality. I was not expecting a DIY kit to look this great. Now I'm going to go over kind of how I set it up, and I'm going to give you some mistakes that I made so you don't have to make them. I do encourage you guys to do a dry run, right? Because you're going to have to put in the ingredients inside this canister, and then you want to put on the regulator pretty quickly, right? So that most of your gas doesn't escape. So you want to do a dry run just to make sure you are comfortable how to screw it on and how to put everything together. And so you may want to do this a couple times so that you can get the most out of all your ingredients here. So once you have the regulator on, the solenoid is just going to attach right there. And this little guy, that's the only cheap part about this kit. It's a little plastic I don't know, attachment there, but the solenoid, you just push it in and it stays. Now, I'm looking at the ingredients here, and we're about to add the ingredients. Now, if you're wondering where to get these, I'm going to put them in the link below, but you need citric acid and you need baking soda. So 200 to 300 grams of each. So I'm going to do about 200 grams of citric acid. Now, this is my first mistake. So I start pouring in the citric acid into the container, and I realized it said 200 grams, not 200 milliliters. And so this container measures milliliters, not grams. So I had to pull out my scale. And if you don't have a scale, you can either get one. They're like $10. They don't cost a whole lot. Or if you buy the exact same ingredients that I'm getting, I'm going to show you how much 200 grams is in milliliters. So you can kind of skip that part. But if you are getting the scale, which I encourage you to do, you go ahead and zero it out and then start pouring it in until you get about 200-ish. Now, the instructions say you want to have anywhere from 200 to 300 grams. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're a little bit over 200, you're fine, as long as you're within the 200 to 300 gram range. So I when I was putting in, I got 206, and I started pulling some out, trying to get a perfect 200, and then I remembered, you know what? It doesn't matter. As long as I'm within the 200 to 300 range, you'll be fine. So if you look at this, I'm going to try to level it out, but 200 grams of citric acid is about, as soon as it clears up here, about 225 milliliters, right? So if you don't have the scale, it's about 225 milliliters for the specific citric acid that I got. Now, mistake number 2, don't make this mistake. Now, I just poured it straight in, and you want to do that, but you want to use the funnel, right? Use the tools that you have, because I ended up spilling a little bit of this, and the baking soda, the baking soda is going to clump, and it's going to be even easier to spill. So make sure you use the funnel. All right. So after you put the citric acid in, you're going to do the same thing to the baking soda. Now I'm going to show you how many milliliters you'll need of baking soda. I think it was about 200 milliliters, but after you fill it up, you want to be around the 200 range again. If we take a look, 200 grams is 200 milliliters, yeah. So once again, it's going to be 225 milliliters citric acid, 200 milliliters of baking soda. Now, I wised up. I'm using the funnel this time. Now, after you put your ingredients in, you want to make sure you wipe off any particles, any residue there. And the reason why is because when you screw in the regulator, you want a good tight seal. And if there's anything in the way, then gas is going to escape. So you want to make sure it's nice and clean, which is what I did. So next, 400 milliliters of water. And then you want to tighten it quickly. And it says hold it at a 45-degree angle. Now the funny thing about this is that they gave you a cup that only has 300 milliliters. So I had to bring out another device, another little container that had about 100, so that I would have the total 400 that are recommended. Now, if you listen, you can kind of hear it starting to react, the sizzling. Now, you want to do this quickly, because you can hear, as soon as the water goes in, if you hear it, the gas is already starting to escape. So go ahead, put the regulator on quickly. And guys, this is my third mistake. I was not prepared to attach the solenoid. I didn't know the solenoid had to be on for the gas to not escape. So I'm reading the instructions as quick as I can, all while I'm losing a whole lot of valuable CO2. But all you need to do is have that solenoid ready and just plug it in after you screw your regulator in. After that, you want to fill the solenoid slash bubble counter with water. So you're just going to unscrew it. Almost dropped it. But you unscrew the top, and then you can fill it up with some water. It doesn't take a whole lot of water. And then once you have it filled up with water, you put the top back on. And I'm actually going to get this all set up and get the power hooked up and put it underneath in my cabinet, underneath my fish tank here, so we can give it a test. So this is why I went with a smaller one, because it's almost as tall as the whole thing. I had to take out the shelf that was in there. So I already have the power connected to a smart plug, and I'm going to hook up the adapter now so I can plug in this adapter part into the solenoid. Now, if you're wondering what kind of smart plugs I'm using the Casa smart plug. I love this. I have like 10 of them for all my fish tanks, for my glow lights, for lamps, all kinds of things. So whenever I plug it in, since I'm using a smart plug, it's not going to turn on the power immediately because I have the smart plug set to off currently. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And it's real easy. It just plugs in at the bottom part of that chip looking section. And it'll be a snug fit. Now, once you get it plugged in, if you're doing the smart plug option like I am, which I encourage you to do so you can put it on a schedule, you can just press the button and it turns on. Yeah, this is the fourth mistake I made. Don't make this mistake. I forgot the airline tubing, right? So I turned it on, but there's no tubing, right? And so it's just CO2 escaping into the atmosphere, into the air, into my room. So make sure you put the airline tubing in before you turn it on. Because I lost a good bit of water from the solenoid tube there. So I went ahead and filled it back up. Now, if you're wondering how to connect the tubing, you take the top off, and then there's a top to the top, right? And then you're going to put the bottom portion of the top back on. And then you're going to get your airline tubing that it comes with. And it comes with about 8 feet of airline tubing, so you get a good bit to work with. And you're going to feed it through the top part of the top. And this is really there just to make sure it's a good, snug fit. Now, you only want to feed it through just a little bit, about that much. And then once you do, you're going to push it into the rigid part of that top of the solenoid there, the bubble counter. And then once you get it good and snug all the way down, that's when you screw it on, just to make sure it's a good, tight fit for you. Now, once you have that in, then you're going to connect the diffuser to the other side of the line. And this goes on pretty easily, but you want to make sure it covers up all the ridges. And then it comes with a few suction cups. Go ahead and put a couple on. It comes with 4. I only use 2, but this really depends on the look and direction you're going with. So use 1 towards the bottom and 1 closer towards the top. But now when I turn it on, it's looking good, right? And I can adjust the flow of the CO2 from that nozzle right there. You can have it go slower, faster, all depending on how big your tank is and what your schedule looks like. Now, after I did it, I went ahead and checked the diffuser, and I didn't see anything coming out. So I went ahead and I figured it may take some time, so I waited about an hour. Here's my electric blue Acara. Oh, gosh. I love this thing. This is my centerpiece fish in my 75-gallon. But after an hour, I don't know if it takes an hour, but after an hour I came back, and there it was, just pumping out CO2, feeding all my plants here. So it's looking really good. Overall, I would definitely recommend the MagTool DIY CO2 kit. Now, I don't know how well it works or how long it lasts, right? So I'm going to have another video about a month or 2 months, maybe even 3 months down the road to kind of give, how it actually performs. But overall, as far as quality, as far as equipment, as far as ease of setup, I really like this kit. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5 because all I wish it had was a little bit more detailed instructions. I like the short picture sticker instructions that it had on the tank. And that's really all you need. But you can kind of avoid some of the mistakes that I had if it also had like a small booklet to kind of walk you through some of this stuff. So overall, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Quality feels really good, and it looks like it's doing its job. So I'll give an update a couple months down the road. But if you're looking for an affordable CO2 tank that looks beautiful, go ahead and check out MagTool's CO2 kit. I'm going to put all the links of where I bought this equipment and the citric acid and the smart plug and the baking soda. Those are all the things you're going to need. I'm going to put them in the description below. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks, guys. I'll see you.